Do we have any idea of all the slaves, all the oppressed, all the killing, all the tortured, all the tens of thousands and millions of people who have existed around the edges of every empire, so those at the center of the empire could say they had peace? Every time you build a pyramid, to keep certain people at the top will have their peace, we have bloody bodies all around the bottom. And those at the top will say that peace is wonderful. But here, Jesus defines peace in a different way. And we call this the Pax Christi, the peace of Christ. He says, don't dare call war peace. It's an illusion, and it's a pretense. So much of the world lives at our expense because of the illusions of those of us at the top, and even the illusions of those of us in America. Jesus said, those who make peace, these will be called my sons and daughters. And there must be a unity between means and ends. We must use the means of peace to achieve the end of peace. But he also warns us that we will be hated from all sides. We will be accused. They used to call us communists. Now they're searching for a new word to call us. The communist word doesn't work anymore. When you're working outside the system, when you work for peace, you will not be admired inside the system. In fact, you will look dangerous. You will look subversive. You will look unpatriotic, and all the other things that people's fears will create. One thing you cannot call Jesus was a patriot. He was naming a far bigger world. If you are truly pro-life, your very means have to be nonviolent. Your very means have to be peaceful, or you are not an example of a peacemaker. Now, none of us live up to this perfectly. Each year on the feast of John the Baptist, we take a vow of nonviolence at the center. But we know we will never fully live up to it. It's a vow. But it has to first be created in the heart, and eventually we hope we can live it in the outer world. And then the 8th beatitude. Happy those who are persecuted in the cause of justice. Theirs is the kingdom of heaven. We're back to present tense. The first and the last beatitudes are present tense. Theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Up till now, he has said, happy the, talking generally. Now he seems to be saying, happy those of you who are. Very likely he's talking about what's going on right in front of him. Persecution has begun to happen to the believing community, and he's telling them it's okay. Persecution for the cause of justice is inevitable. There's the word justice a second time. Theirs is the kingdom of heaven. And then he elaborates on this. You could really call this the 9th beatitude, although it looks like it's an explanation of the 8th. Happy are you. He's talking to the people right in front of him. Happy are you. He's trying to give them hope because undoubtedly at this point they're being persecuted and criticized. When people abuse you, when people persecute you and speak all kinds of calumny against you, rejoice and be glad, for your reward will be great. This is how they persecuted the prophets before you. Apparently, he's saying that their action is a prophetic action. To live joyfully in the midst of persecution is pure prophecy. They persecuted the old prophets this way, and now you're living prophetically. And I promise you, when you do it, the world won't understand. They'll hate you. All the prophets without exception were killed. Jesus said, you killed my cousin John the Baptist, and you're going to kill me. When you live prophetically, you're no longer going to fit into the world as it is. Then he goes on to say that to live these happinesses, these beatitudes, such people will be the salt of the earth. Now, what does he mean by such an image? First of all, he's not saying, those of you who live this way are going to heaven. Just stop thinking that way. That's not what he's saying. He's just naming the real. We think of the teaching of Jesus as a set of prescriptions, even though we haven't followed them. And we think he's telling us to follow these prescriptions and we'll go to heaven. No. The Sermon on the Mount, and especially the Beatitudes, are a set of descriptions of a free life, more than prescriptions. So don't even try to interpret them as a set of laws. They're not given in the genre of law. They're a description of a free and full human life.